Okay. Hopefully that's more steady. It was going like down to 0 every minute or so, and so I asked, and everyone said it seemed really choppy.
Okay, okay.
But
I'm gonna grab a cup of water. You mind if I grab a cup of water?
Yeah, go for it.
Sorry. If you don't mind, I'm gonna actually have the rest of this conversation in VR.
I thought that was AR.
No, it's... Oh, wow. Look at this. Michael, can you hear me?
Yeah, there's someone breaking in my house right now.
Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you... Oh no, I broke it. I broke my thing. Hey, can you hear me?
Yep.
Michael!
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
No! Okay. Can you hear me? Okay, it went weird. Sorry.
Do you have that headset plugged into your computer?
Yeah, yeah. So it immediately shifted all of my everything to the VR headset.
Have you been using that headset?
Yeah, yeah, I have been using it. I used it to play a flight simulator the other day, like a combat flight simulator, and it was fucking ridiculous. I went and dude, so I'm sitting in this chair. I'm on keyboard and mouse for a flight simulator game called War Thunder that I played on stream. Maybe you've seen me do it. I know you like video. I remember test flying the thing, and it's like, dude, like, you're sitting in the cockpit, you see all of the gauges and knobs, you see your flight suit. When you interact with the controls, your guy in the thing goes and interacts with it. And so, like, if I want to see something on the ground, I literally have to fly it in a circle around it. And there's like, in the game, I could just get my camera and look, like change my camera's position. But I literally have to fly next to it, roll the aircraft a little bit so I can see over I can get the wing out of the way. And then I have to fly and like look and see. And I'm like, okay, there's a ground target. And then I come in, I like line it up with the bomb sight. And then I go in for a dive bomb and I release. The bomb goes, I hear it go, like away. And then I pull up. And then I hear an explosion, and I look behind me, and there's this big plume of smoke, and it's like, okay, target's destroyed. And it's so like the craziest, it's absurd. And then you go into like actual online, and you start to dogfight people.
Yeah.
And you're like, holy crap! Like I have to look back, because there's a guy like behind me on my tail. And then it's like, oh, you got hit, and it's like you got a hole in your left wing, and I'm looking to my left, I'm like, obviously, that wing's on fire. I can see it. It's right here. But it's like it's crazy because when you rock the aircraft and you fly inverted, or like you pull a high G maneuver, visually your brain realizes that it's happening, and it starts to enact a small sense of vertigo at some times, which was something I didn't expect initially.
That's so cool.
So yeah, so you'll like, so I'll do what's called a yo-yo, which is it's a high altitude maneuver where you drop the nose of the aircraft and go at like a 45-degree angle, and then you hit a point where you do like an inverse parabolic arc and come up and use that momentum from the drop to pick up more airspeed and slingshot you back up to the same altitude.
Okay.
So it's a way to it's like an interceptor tactic to catch up to bombers and stuff like that, or just to keep up the momentum while at a certain like altitude. And so like to do that, to pitch the nose of the aircraft down, and to come in like at that straight line, your brain, you roll the aircraft down, and your brain, it's like the start of a roller coaster, but then the actual feeling of dropping, you don't get that, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure you probably feel a little bit of it though, right?
Yeah. I was super surprised that my brain was like, since I'm seeing that I'm going on this kind of roller coaster.
Yeah.
That this is what I'm supposed to be feeling, and it actually triggers that chemical release.
I was watching some stuff on VR like at the beginning of this year, and people were talking about that someone was giving someone a demonstration, and they were talking about how like you grab objects and stuff, and like there's no actual like haptic feedback, but you can feel, it feels like you're grabbing something a little bit, like you see something, and as you touch it, you like almost feel like you're actually touching something.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So I've been in this mixed reality class this semester with that guy Scott Fisher I've been telling you about. It's like the guy who basically has invented VR,
right? Like
the modern VR headset. And we're doing a project for the HoloLens and the Samsung Odyssey in these last 2 weeks. So he took us the week before. He took us to Dreamscape in LA, where it's essentially a 20 by 20 platform where you can get 6 people to stand on, and you go through this experience together. And they have a bunch of objects that you can grab in the virtual space, but in reality, they're actually objects that are tracked. So like I go to pick up a torch. I remember doing this one that's like a tiki, like it's kind of like a Mayan cave where we have to find this lost pearl. And so in the physical space, like it takes a group and it separates them into 3s, and they have to go through their own individual tunnel. In the physical space, they're within 20 feet of each other. But in the virtual space, like they're all the way across this giant chasm, and you can see them and wave to them. And then you go and it's like pick up the torch off of the wall, and you grab the torch.
Now, are you standing still while this is happening?
No, you're moving around this 20-foot platform.
Okay.
And this 20-foot platform articulates and moves and rumbles. And then there's a sequence where you step onto this mine cart, and you're going through this giant mine cart, and it's going up and down, and the cart is moving up and down and shaking, and there's they say that there's a directional lever that you have to push. So you grab the lever and you move it and turn it, and it's like you're actually grabbing a lever, but you also see your hand actually grabbing it as well and moving it, and it was just a really incredible.
So
experience.
How does the walking part work?
So they essentially, like, you don't realize that you're walking within this space. You walk in a manner where it feels like you keep walking because you turn at certain points, but you're not cognizant of where you are on the platform because you can't see it. So for you, you're like, oh, I could be by the edge of the platform, or I could be right in the middle of it. But it feels like you're walking through all of these tight, very claustrophobic corridors. That are turning and stuff like that.
So they show you with the visuals where you can't walk, and that's
they completely hide it.
But with the in-game visuals, like you would,
like there's a wall there,
and that would be where you'd fall off the platform.
There's like an actual wall there.
Yeah.
So like you have a 20-foot span of like maybe straight hallway.
Yeah.
And then they have a turn because there's a wall there. And what they'll do is they'll gamify or have some sort of interactive element so there's not really any incentive to go over there in the first place.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Dude. I've thought for a while.
It's really fucking cool.
I've thought for a while that the only thing that would be more Like the only thing that I could think of that would be crazier than the experiment that I'm doing, that like I would do, or like that I think would be an interesting thing to do, at this point would be doing the exact same thing but in virtual reality. Like
Like
having
with a 3D camera?
yeah, like I just have a VR camera on my head, and like it's the exact same experiment, but people just put on a headset, and then it's even more immersive. You know.
That might be mine. How cool would that be, dude?
That'd be
'Cause
sick.
I'm like a gamer VR guy.
Yeah,
That would make more sense for me.
you would be definitely better at executing it.
I'd have to get like a cardboard skirt that blocked out all of my privates when I went to like take a pee.
No. There's only one way to do it, Michael. You either commit or you don't do it at all.
I mean, like, it would be a lot. I feel like it'd be a lot less intrusive in a way, because instead of having like an actual camera showing an angle where people know that they're on camera, you just have this like beacon that's around you on your backpack at all times.
Yeah. I think the biggest benefit of it in that sense is like it would be like having a camera before people knew what cameras were, which is part of the benefit of being in College Station and like some weird places where people don't know what's going on because like they don't know that it's a camera. But if you had a VR camera on your head, people are literally not gonna know what it is.
They're like,
They're just
what
gonna
is this
think you have
alien man like walking around?
They're gonna look at you, but like no, people are not gonna ask you to. They're not gonna say you can't record here, sir.
Yeah.
They're not gonna say that.
Like, you could have like one of those double-sided 3D cameras and walking around, and people would just be like, "What is that? Like do you have like a radio? Like, is that your iPod? Like, what is that?" You know?
Why your iPads look like that?
Yeah, I think that would be really, really sick. Actually, I might consider doing that. Maybe not for like live streaming my life for a year, but at least making videos that way of my life.
Me and you should collaborate on that technology, or you should make all the technology, and then you should use me as your guinea pig for that experiment.
I would love to do that because I'm the technology guy. I like the technology.
Yeah, and I'm like the guy who doesn't have any marketable skills, so you just make him do things, and then.
Well, you got one marketable skill, for you. Ready? Hear what it is? Handsome. You got handsome eyebrows, strong eyebrows.
So to say something about
you got good friends.
To go back, not that we have to stay on this topic, but I wanted
go back to the stress.
Yeah, I wanted to say something about that. I think that you kind of end up like if you're our age, you kind of end up in either one of two states. Like you are either overwhelmed, and you either take all of the information in life seriously, and you approach it as if it all is real and matters. In which case, you are anxious and stressed out, and it's overwhelming.
Yes.
Or you just realize, or you decide that it is meaningless, and then you live in like a hole, a vacuum, and like those are your two choices. I think that's what our generation chooses between.
This is something my friend Ryan Lederer told me when like I was at like a really depressed state and I talked about like being suicidal in college. He was basically like he had an experience where his friend had alluded in this situation about like the absurdity of life when he was in a similar state, and he basically said, so there's three ways like that you can live your life. It's like you could actually kill yourself, which is you would be dead, or you could go on believing the absurdity of life, right? And get caught up in the absurdity of life, even though it's virtually meaningless. Or you could acknowledge the fact that life is inherently absurd, and you just kind of want to see where it goes, which is pretty much what you're talking about. It's like the idea of understanding like that you exist, like the idea of an existence is fucking crazy absurd, right? It's like I'm alive, I'm cognizant, I'm interacting with objects, and I live in a society where everybody else is supposedly doing that. And to the best of our knowledge so far, we're the only things that are at the same level of sentience that we are. And the fact that we even exist and like can interact and talk and stuff like that is inherently absurd because it's not something that is normally found in the universe. So like you could either go, so that I think what it is it's like I could either go, man, I live in America and everything around me matters, and everything I say matters and do matters, and I have a life to lead, and America's the best, or like USC is the best, or my high school football team's the best, and I have to do this to make my father proud, and all this stuff. Where you could just literally just be like, dude, we're on a rock in the middle of fucking space, hurling around like a burning ball of hydrogen at thousands of miles an hour. Like, this is ridiculous. And you're gonna talk to me about fucking Snapchat? Like, like that's the way that I look.
You need to get your digital presence. You need to be on Snapchat.
Me?
Yeah, you need to be posting stories daily.
Actually.
If you're not on Snapchat, you're not part of the rock.
Right, exactly. You're not in it until the rock gets reset. And then who's going to be ready? Me. Because while you were on Snapchat, I was Googling how to store food and set up defensive perimeters. No, but dude, like, that's the way I look at it. It's like some people never break through that wall because their parents are like waspy people who are like, you gotta go to a competitive school and make us proud, and then they get there and there's drugs and alcohol, and they're like, this is pointless, why am I doing this? And then they become suicidal or depressed. But it's like us, we went to a public school, we or you went to a boarding school, right, for a period of time?
Yeah, but I did mostly public school.
Mostly public school.
And a little bit of homeschooling.
I had some homeschooling and some private schooling, but most of it was public. And for me, it's like, I just realized that there's a whole life out there of colorful people and zany characters. And like, not everybody's the same. And it's like, you have to comprise your life of individuals, and you just have to realize that like, we're all in this same fucking boat together. And, life is crazy, absurd, and ridiculous shit can happen at literally any time. So for me to have a plan and like be like, this is the way this is going, and really give a shit about stuff, I just kind of let that roll off the top. Plus I did acid and mushrooms, and that really fucking helped.
It helped, or it didn't help?
Yeah, it totally helped. A lot of people like at this age will be like, go get drunk, they'll do a lot of drinking, and they'll like do cocaine, and they'll smoke a lot of weed. And I smoked a lot of weed, but I also just did acid and mushrooms, and that fucking just, like, that didn't make me smarter. Like, I think I'm more stupid after doing them. I think it was a bad idea. But in terms of just realizing like the scale of life out there, and realizing how inherently absurd life is, and learning to let other things roll off your back and not give a shit, like, that was probably instrumental in that for me. I mean, it had to be. Dude, like when you realize, like, that was one of the big things for me too, is that kind of got me off that track, is I remember like the incredibly powerful experience of realizing that, like, for the first time actually realizing that I existed, and that there was a thing called life around me, and that like I was like, it's completely earth shattering. Like, everybody's like, yeah, I know I'm alive and I'm cognizant, and it's like, no, you don't. You have no fucking idea how cognizant you really are. Like, you have no idea, like, the essence of life that is around you all the time. And I think it's something that's there, and it's an energy that's there. And there was this article I read the other day that like, people can detect them when they're inside of a certain type of electrical field around them. Like, humans can actually, that's why you can detect, like, see if somebody's staring at you, or you can sense that somebody's behind you,
Yeah.
And I was like, that's an entire part of the human experience that like, you need to be hyper sensitive to, and like, you may not even like I don't think electrical field around me until I was in those experiences, because I think you literally need to have like a higher level of awareness and sentience inside of that in those moments. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's a thing that's so awe-inspiring and powerful that like, I don't think I can describe it.
Would you recommend?
What it actually,
would you recommend that anyone in general take hallucinogenics?
I think that some people can just do it and experience it and be fine. I was kind of one of those people where it was like, all right, like I can do this and experience this and be fine. Like I'm not gonna fucking go crazy. I'm not gonna try to fly. I'm not gonna disassociate and
Try to fly. My mom almost tried to fly. She was on mushrooms and she was on like a hotel balcony and she almost tried to fly and someone prevented her from flying, which was good.
yeah. So yeah, I mean like that's what I mean. Is like some people I think like if there was a way, like what it really needs to be, like what it really needs to happen is recreational drugs should be legalized, but legalized in a way in which certain types of professionals can help you guide people through an experience, rather than them being completely unregulated. You never know what you're getting, and people do them and obtain them as they always have, and then have them in a state where they're completely uncontrolled, and that can be potentially dangerous. That's what I think about that. I think like for somebody like me, like I could do it and be fine. And like I could if I wanted to, I could do a tab tonight and then go to class the next day and be fine. Some people can't do that. And some people like they need to have to kind of be shepherded and walked through it. And I think like that's just the way that it is. And the only reason that people haven't done that is because these drugs have been built up as illicit, dangerous chemicals, which in reality, it's like, I think that in excess, they're inherently dangerous. I knew a guy who used to buy it off the deep web, and he would do a tab of acid, like probably like every other day. And he got into a super depressed state because he was so overly stimulated that like normal life was just inherently sad for him. But like, I think that if people do it like once every 3 to 4 months, if they really are into it and want to actively do it, I mean, but like you really only need 1 or 2 times in your entire life to do it. And I think that if you were able to have it in an experience that in a place that's safe, where you're surrounded by people who have your best interest in mind at all times, and you are cognizant that you're going to be taking hallucinogenic drugs that are dissociative in nature and really, really powerful to changing your state of mind, if you're cognizant of that, then I think you're ready to do that. But I think that you should obviously, it's like drinking. It's like any other drug. The most dangerous drug, I think, though, is drinking. I mean, I know it's drinking and smoking, and it's like we build those things up as so bad, yet people do them all the time. Whereas like these drugs aren't really that bad if you do them correctly. And it's like drinking. It's like don't drink in excess. Well, don't take acid in excess. There's a balance to everything, and you have to be cognizant that like you can't get drunk and expect to behave normally. And be like, why aren't I behaving normally? It's like you can't take acid and expect things to be normal because you're going to be on acid. But being on acid is like everything around you is amazing, funny, potentially awe-inspiring, captivating, fascinating, engaging. Like even the simplest thing of watching a stream is to see like the water move with inside of itself and gesticulate and flow over objects. One thing I would say is don't be in a human environment. Be in a nature setting. Be in a place where it's really hard to be sad. And I think that one of the places that it's hardest to be depressed in is a beautiful nature environment. And so as a potential role model, I advocate it. I think people should absolutely try it. And I especially think that people who are older should try it. I think young people, try it and they go, I'm so smart and I've expanded my mind and I'm much more intelligent than you could ever understand. And it's like, it's not true. You're just a kid who took it and was like tripped balls. But it's like for people who have 40, 50 years of life experience to find and that's the thing too, is acid gives you closure and answer to questions in life. I like shrooms. Shrooms are okay. Shrooms are more like they're more internalizing. I think that acid is a much better choice. If you're gonna do a psychedelic, do a half a tab of acid. And if you do a half a tab of acid and you feel like it's not and an hour afterwards you think it's okay, like this is less than I expected, do the other half of the tab. But like, don't go in on a tab and a half or a tab and then expect to be like, okay, because it's really powerful stuff. But like, I think for older people who like, my dad is like 63 now, or 60. I'm sorry, he's 62 years old. Like, to be 62 and to take a tab of acid and to find closure in life, like questions that you've always had, because what it does is it's essentially like Adderall or Vyvanse that isn't like manic, depressive, and anxious. So it's like a elevated state of consciousness where you're more aware and more cognizant, colors are more vibrant, and your brain is finding the answers to those anxious questions that you constantly have. So to be that old and to have closure to like your father's death, or a divorce, or something like that, and to find that in a single experience within a 6-hour span, and then to have that permanently for the rest of your life, it's an amazing experience. And I think that's why like this stuff should be legalized. I'm happy that it's legalized in Oregon and states, and that it's starting to happen, because for people who have PTSD, for people who have manic depressive disorders, for people who have anxiety disorders, or stuff like that, like this stuff can change your life. And I think that the fact that the fact that we're cognizant that this stuff is so powerful to alter somebody's consciousness, and that we don't study it and use it and have it interact with people and try to make have some sort of medical benefit or spiritual benefit, I think it's a sin, because like this stuff is like better than any sort of antidepressant I've ever been on or taken, or any sort of mood stabilizer. And you don't need to do it every day. And I think what it is you have at a time you had a group of people who weren't ready to change. They weren't ready to have their cognition and the way that they think changed at that point in their life, and they took it and they developed anxiety on it, or they made stupid decisions, and then the thing gets a bad rep as some sort of crazy devil drug. And I think that's what happened. It's like you have to go in with the understanding that you may not walk out of this experience differently, or that you may walk out of this experience differently. And once you understand that and you do it in a safe manner, that is in an environment that caters to the experience, then it can be an absolutely beautiful, life-changing experience. But that's all I have to say about that.
So if I took like 6 or 7 tabs and then I tried to do a triathlon, do you think that it would help me?
I think you would complete the triathlon.
Okay.
I actually do think that you would complete the triathlon.
Okay.
I'm serious. I'm actually serious. I think that you would actually be... No, I'm serious. Because your brain would go, there is no possible reason I can't complete this triathlon. Like, that's literally what it is your brain just goes into this state of mind where you're like, there is no possible reason why I can't fix everything, every single piece of my life that's wrong right now. And that's what it is. It literally is the on switch for some people. So there was this kid back home named Nick Martin, who like he didn't go to college. He like was always smoking weed. He was always into drugs, always drinking, not very self-aware and stuff like that. And he ended up like tripping one time. And within a month and a half after that, had started like a landscaping business. He now owns a landscaping business. Like he's like doing stuff, and like he's in the process of like purchasing his own house. Like there was a kid, one of my friends, Ryan Hall from back home, was in the same boat. His father used to beat his ass all the time. Like he would literally get into fist fights with his father. You know, he never really did well in school. He didn't have the it's not, I don't think it's that he didn't have the ability to understand things. He just didn't give a shit about stuff. He was a very violent, angry kid as well. And he used to do MMA. He started taking acid. He took acid a few times, and he also took mushrooms. And now he owns his house. He has a girlfriend. Like they have a dog. He goes to work every day. He's got like, he's a diesel mechanic, and he's making like $60,000-$70,000 a year, and he finds success in a life that's manageable, comprehensive, and stable. after this experience. And I think that because there's a lot of kids who are in the exact same boat that he was in, and they went down a criminal trajectory. And I think it's because that they didn't have these experiences, where they didn't have this big force go, hey, you are tiny, tiny, tiny. And everything around you is inherently beautiful and absurd and crazy and amazing. And the fact that you get to wake up in the morning and take a shit and brush your teeth and then go to school and interact with all of these different types of individuals and characters and walk through this giant complex system of society that is beautifully and naturally orchestrated, like I think that people who aren't like, that's why I don't like it when people are like, oh, I take Xanax and bars, or I do cocaine, or that I drink. It's like, dude, those drugs are never going to be good for you. Like, you're never going to get anything out of those experiences that are as amazing, well, not as amazing, but like, just, you're never going to get as, it's not as beneficial. They're dangerous. They're bad for you. They're poisonous. Whereas, like, I think, at least shrooms, I'm not super sure about. I don't always like them. I think they can be hit or miss. I think they can. You're a lot more likely to have a bad trip on mushrooms, but I think at least acid is. I mean, the people who we idolize in history, a lot of them have taken acid, right? The Rolling Stones, the Beatles, Steve Jobs, like these people who have achieved amazing things have had, in some cases, have had an interaction with this chemical, lysergic acid. So I don't think that's that's 3 cases, but there's also a lot more cases, and there's also a lot of cases where it doesn't happen. But I think in terms for the right individual in the right time, if they take it, it can change their life and make them a better person. I don't think I would have stayed in college had I not done acid. And that's the truth. I don't think I would have been able to deal with it. I think I might even be dead. Like, who knows? And that's just how I feel about acid.
Really opened a can of worms with that one.
Yeah. Sorry to just go on another giant awkward, like, unself-aware rant where I just rant about something on your YouTube channel for like 20 fucking minutes.
When was the last one?
The last time I did it?
Yeah.
Last time I did acid was at the beginning.
No, I meant the last time you did a long rant on my YouTube channel. But you can answer the acid one too.
Every time I'm here, I do a long ass rant. Every time I'm here, I always rant about some stupid shit, and I don't let anybody else get a word in. See, dude, the thing is when I do that, you have to just go, dude, like, shut up, like, just stop talking.
Well, I think people probably wanted to hear what you had to say about that.
Okay, well, what do you think of that? What do you? I mean, I want to, because like you're the kind of guy that, like, you won't let me know what you're thinking about something until I ask. And I want to know what you think about that.
About acid?
Yeah.
I think that I probably wouldn't take it in the place that I'm in now, because I think that maybe, like, one thing that you said that was interesting was, like, you should be prepared to change, or like maybe walk out a different person than you came in.
Yeah.
And so maybe if I, like, reached a point in my life where I felt like things had, like, plateaued more and, like, I was not undergoing a lot of mental change, then maybe it would make more sense. But
yeah, that's what I mean. Is I don't think that like I don't think that you should go out. Like, I think it's more suited to be a tool. You know what I mean? Like, it's more of a tool than it is. I mean, it really should just be a clinical drug. Is really what it should be.
Mm-hmm.
It should be. The thing is that, I think the government did a lot of testing with it where they tried to use it as a mind control device. They determined that it didn't work. They made it illegal for some sort of reason, whether they know that it can be used as a mind control substance or whether they think that it's dangerous because it opens and expands people's minds, which is what I really think it is. And so, I'm serious, dude. I'm dead. Like, you want to talk about shit that I actually believe? I actually believe this. I believe that during MK Ultra, The government tried to use this shit as a mind control device. They realized that it had the exact opposite effect at a time where they needed the nation to have a strict and intense state of nationalism, and they got scared and they made it illegal. So a bunch of hippies went, why the fuck is this stuff illegal? They found some chemist who could make it, or who some sort of way to obtain it. They started doing it, and that gave birth to literally rock and roll. and like, that is something that I believe, like, to my core. Like, I think that, like, in as a clinical drug, like, I think if when people are in a state of mind, like, where they're really depressed or something like that, I think if there was a safe way to give them acid and to expand their mind, or at least, like, if you can do cryotherapy and freeze yourself to below, like, freezing temperatures for a period of 3 minutes, which can be dangerous if not done safely, you should be able, or if I can get up into a giant metal fucking tube that flies through the air at just under the speed of sound, I should be able to take fucking acid. If I can get in a 4,000-pound vehicle and drive on a asphalt surface at 90 miles an hour, I should be able to take fucking acid.
Yeah, dude. Let's talk about driving.
Think of how much of our life, how much of our space is catered to driving. More
than would be catered to driving if our government hadn't decided that driving was going to be the thing back in the early 1900s.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
we have an unnaturally driving-centric transportation network.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think that's because we just have a lot of, like, articulate spaces that aren't centralized. Which is, like, I think what we need to do is, like, we need to take a city like Los Angeles and literally just fucking, not bulldoze it, but, like, we need to take a lot of the portions of it and destroy them and then centralize them in, like, a space. You know what I mean? Like, we need to, like, New York has a lot of centralized areas. That's why public, like Jake Taylor, I don't know if you met him when you were at Teak. He's our age. He never had a driver's license. He lived in New York City.
Yeah.
Because you don't need a car. Like, there's more capable transportation networks that are quicker and more efficient than having an automobile. Like, the idea that there's a social expectation that you get your driver's license, that you drive on the road. Like, I understand that you need cars to be in certain areas, but in some metropolitan, like, especially a city like Los Angeles, like metropolitan areas, like, I don't think there's really an excuse at this point to have a poor public transportation network. And I don't think that LA has a bad public transportation network either. I just think there's so much of a culture of driving here.
It's not very good.
Yeah, I mean,
it's hard to get, if you have to get someplace, it takes a long time to get there by public transport.
Yeah, but it would take a long time to get there by car as well.
That's true.
Like, it's a 50-mile sprawl. Like, how do you develop from the ground up a public transportation network to accommodate all of that space? It's a really hard thing to do.
Yeah, but a lot of it is, like, I mean, if you're not along the metro lines, which I spent a lot of time on metros and stuff there, and if you're not along it, then, like, you are dealing with very complicated bus routes to get you just to a metro stop, because there's not very many metro lines.
Yeah, the problem, I agree with you. The problem is that there's not a lot of metro lines, so you have to rely on these buses.
Yeah.
And the bus lines are fucking chaotic. They're dirty. They're, like, not they're at the woes of traffic. Like, you know, like, a lot of the times, dude, I ride a bike and I fucking make it there faster than motherfuckers who are on the bus next to me.
Yeah, but,
like, I just go. Like, I could go during a crosswalk. I ride in the bike lane. I can go on a green light. Like, so I am fucking cruising. I can make it from USC to downtown LA. And I don't mean, like, downtown, like, at the edge of downtown. I mean, like, up at fucking 7th Street, like 7th and Olive, like, almost past Pershing Square, like, in a matter of 10 to 13 minutes.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely faster.
Yeah. What we should have is we have to find a way to make motorcycles safer. We have to find. No, I'm serious. We have to find a way to make two-wheeled, very tiny, compact vehicles carry more things, carry more people, and be safer. Is what we
It
have
would
to
be
do.
sweet if like the future of driving was like super dope electric motorcycles. That'd be cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool. 'Cause, dude, it
Tesla
would
model
literally be-
motorcycle.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dude, like we keep going like, oh, compact automobiles, compact automobiles. Like if you look at the size of a Fiat 500 now compared to the first Fiat 500, like it's like almost 40% bigger in every capacity. Like so like that's not a compact vehicle anymore. Like it's a compact vehicle because the fucking Chevy or the fucking Ford F-350 next to it is the size of a boat. Like literally it's a 20-foot truck in some cases. Like that's an enormous vehicle, right? Like that so I guess compared to the boat of a truck, it's a compact car.
Yeah.
But like in essence, like that's a almost like that would have been the size of like some full-size sedans back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like we're not like we keep going. Oh, we're gonna go green and we're gonna go compact, and that's the future of automobiles, and that's just not the case. Like nobody wants one of those fuck ugly, stupid little go karts. Like nobody wants one. I'm serious. Like the only the only people who willingly buy a fucking Prius, I think, are Uber drivers.
You have to be such an idiot to buy a Prius.
Oh my god, dude! You're lying to yourself.
Oh yeah.
The amount of fossil fuels used to cart that stupid, ugly, fucking little dinky piece of shit across the ocean is disgusting. And then when they're done, because their batteries only last about 5 years, they sit in a fucking landfill and leak battery acid into the groundwater.
Absolute trash. I would go so far as to say that if someone bought a Prius, they should be. I mean, I don't know, maybe rounded up.
Rounded up. Okay. I think they should be rounded up and they should be forced to sit on a toilet for 2 years and constantly eat. And just they should accrue a mass of feces from that person and then put it in a room next to them with a small ventilation system that just pushes that fucking shit smell into their room for the next like year and a half. Right?
Yeah.
Dude, like.
Well, let me just segue. There's something I wanted to show you. Let's see if I can get this. Just give it my.
I'm gonna put this in my refrigerator. Hold on. I'll be right
Yeah,
back.
take your time. Okay, let me just. This is cool. I think that you'll be pretty into this. So I wanted to show you this video, just get your thoughts on it.
Yeah. Oh, does Shelby have a Prius?
No, it's just like a.
Good. Tell him what?
It's a little choppy here, but.
No, Tom, I have a megaphone.
So.
I can't hear what he's saying.
So I talked to the 5-year-old in the back seat, and he told me I should buy it, and he said he wanted you to know he has a magnifying glass.
Okay. Wait, what did he say?
I don't know, just some nonsense, but it's just like some YouTube guy. Probably.
No. Tell me what he said. I want to hear what he said.
Which one? The person with the camera or the?
The kid. What Shelby's kid said?
He said, oh, let me exit this. He said, I asked him if I should buy this car, and he said, yes, you should buy it, and tell him that I have a magnifying glass. So, it was a video of me buying a Prius. That's why it was funny.
Did you buy a Prius?
Yeah.
Oh my god! Why?
Because that's what I'm gonna live in.
fucking asshole. Bro. I love how you were like, you let me go on that rant about it beforehand. Which, by the way, like, I still feel the same way.
Yeah,
You're leaving a bigger carbon footprint buying that fucking car than you are trying to fix it. You know that, right?
I think that we leave really big carbon footprints no matter what.
Yeah. That's so funny.
I didn't buy. I mean, my reasons for purchasing it had nothing to do with the environment. But I do think it's funny to pretend that I'm better than everyone else because I own a Prius.
I drive a Prius, yeah. That's the only reason that I would ever buy one of those cars, is to just be like, yeah, actually, you may think that I'm a racist, conservative piece of shit, but I drive a Prius. Yeah. Dude, I can't be racist, dude. I took acid. I drive a Prius, okay? I'm a half Latino guy that took acid and drives a Prius, okay? I can't be racist or conservative. It doesn't work. What's chat saying? What is chat saying?
Let's see. Does have cocked? I think someone got kicked out.
Wait, what?
No, someone I think got banned. I don't know what's going on, but what did you say? What were you gonna say?
I've realized that you can't always be looking at chat and responding to chat.
Oh yeah. I mean,
at a certain point, you kind of just have to like do your own thing and let chat run. Because
yeah.
if you keep going into chat and wondering what chat's doing, they're gonna take you out of it.
Yeah, and if I'm like talking to you or someone, then I'll probably glance at it I'll probably see about half the chats. But if I'm doing a Q&A, I obviously see close to 100%.
Yeah.
And then on a day-to-day basis now, I'm lucky if I see 10% of the chat. No, that's an exact, maybe 5%, because once I reached the point where there were once there were enough people, and this actually stopped doing this before there were enough people, but especially now that there are enough people to like have conversations on their own, and like it doesn't need me, you know what I mean? I don't have to be there to like interact. Then it's better for me to just like live my own life. I think it's better for the whole project for me to do that, and
than to keep interacting with the chat.
Yeah, because like I can check it and see what people are saying, like maybe type a response or something, or like change something. But in general, it is too much being taken out of your own mind to spend all the time like reading what people are saying about what you're doing.
So you think, dude, that was actually that's kind of like what we were talking about when I talked about that girl who did that YouTube presentation. It's being like unrelatable in certain aspects. Like I noticed that like a lot of the streams that I've had success with in terms of playing is when I'm not engaging with chat and I'm just being a crazy psychopath playing video games. And those were the best streams that I've ever had. Mm-hmm. Whereas like other ones where like I'm kind of just like sitting there catering to what chat says. Kind of like just more, it's boring.
It's hard because the people in chat on like 10 times out of 10 they're gonna think especially if they're the people actually chatting, they're gonna think that their stream would be better off if you're talking to them and interacting with chat, but
it's not the case at all. The stream would be better off if I was focusing on entertaining the people who are watching it.
A lot of the time.
And then you guys can say and interact and talk and discuss with each other.
Unless it is especially like an interactive stream.
Unless it's meant to be something that's interactive for sure. But yeah, dude, like I found that out like with my last stream basically is like people are coming to watch this to be entertained. They're not sitting there to watch me interact and talk with somebody and answer every single question that they have, right?
Yeah.
They're sitting, because my opinion at the end of the day is virtually meaningless. It doesn't fucking matter 90% of the time. It's not going to change anything in that person's life. It's not going to like change the world. You know what I mean? Like people are there because they're coming home from a fucking 12-hour shift of work and they want to sit there and watch this idiot do stupid shit and entertain them before they go to bed. That's what I'm supposed to be doing.
That's why people watch my stream.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like
they want to watch me burn my fish and then they have to eat it still.
Yeah, exactly. Like they want to watch. They want to be like, look at this jackass burning his fish, and then they want to also they watch me and they're like, look at this fucking psycho, like role playing in fucking Roblox right now. Like, look at this fucking idiot. Like, what is he doing? He's 23. He should have a job. Like, that's why they're coming for me to well, you know, I really think that you should. It's like nobody wants to hear that shit, Mike. That's the way that I looked at it, and I think that's what being unrelatable is. It's like if somebody's coming to watch your stream to be entertained and happy because they're either stressed or they're overworked or they're not happy, you don't want to relate to them and be like, oh man, I hate working and I'm unhappy. Like, you want to.
You're just pretending. Like, oh, I feel the same way.
Oh man, let's talk about how much that shit sucks. Like, nope.
It's funny.
Nobody's there for that shit. Like, people want to see your own brand of shit. They want to be entertained.
Sure.
So they come there to be entertained or educated. They don't come there to fucking talk about the same shit that they talk about every day.
On a separate note, do you know what Discord Tuesday is?
No. What's Discord Tuesday?
It's a really big event I'm doing with my stream. And every Tuesday is Discord Tuesday at 9 p.m. Central Time. So that's like 7 for you or 11? 11 p.m. for you.
That's, oh, fuck you, dude.
Why?
I have class from 6 to 9 on Tuesdays.
Oh, so no, you're free then. It's 11 p.m. your time.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, 11 p.m. your time.
All right, yeah, then I'm down.
All right, it's really I mean, I'll try and remember to send you a
11
reminder.
11 p.m. my time?
11. That's right, right?
No, because if it's 9 p.m. Tuesday, I'm after you.
Oh, you're right. It's before.
7 p.m. Yeah.
Oh.
So we gotta either find a way.
Wait, but what type of class is it?
It's a symposium class for the professor who used to be the head of my department.
Is it small?
Well. She gives me a lot of autonomy. It's enormous. It's an enormous class.
Oh.
She gives me a shit ton of autonomy.
Is it like a lecture?
Yeah, it's a huge lecture.
Oh, dude, that's perfect. It's just it's only on there's no speaking, so you can participate without having to if your computer's up.
Chat. It's not talking.
Yeah, it's just on Discord.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can totally do that. Yeah.
It's I'll try and remember to send you a reminder, but it's very important.
I'll just set one. All
right, do it. That's awesome. It's the most.
Remind me that at 7 p.m. next Tuesday, it's Discord Tuesday for Michael Gerry's live stream.
Okay, I'll remind you.
That's sick. That's so cool. I've never done that.
Yeah. Dude, my design fiction project for my mixed reality class was an AI companion that follows you through augmented reality. Like, I am living to either create or for the day where you have that AI personal assistant that just helps manage all of that tertiary shit that you
We're not gonna have to actually remember anything.
I'm not gonna, I live for the day where I am instructed to do exactly what I want, exactly what I have to get done that day, and not remember any of it, so that I can come back home and plug into a virtual reality headset and fucking fly planes or fight in a war or squeeze giant anime titties. And that's basically where my mind should go. Hong Kong. Yeah.
All right, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Since you were kind of part of, like, the motivating cacophony of voices behind me doing this project.
Yeah.
Do you think that what do you think about me doing some version of it in any sense, like after this year is over?
Dude, I'm incredibly happy for you. Like I'm incredibly happy for you and what you're doing. And I think that the fact that you consider me one of those voices that egged you on to partake in this project, and that you've actually found a giant semblance of success in it, makes me feel awesome. And I think that maybe the 24-hour live stream is maybe it's too much at a certain point. Maybe like you don't want to do that. I think, but at the end of the day, dude, I think whatever you do, you're going to succeed in it. And I think that this live stream was a phenomenal idea, and I think that you should keep doing some sort of thing along this line because you found success in it. I'm serious. Like, why would you stop? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make, like, you're going to stop and pivot into some, like what would you pivot into? school, education, like going back to college. Would you pivot back into that? No. There's almost 4,000 people who have signed up to say, all right, like I will at least consider staying in the loop of whatever the fuck is going on right now. It's a huge amount of people. That's the same amount of people that are. That's the same.
Almost 4,000.
Almost 4,000, right?
Right
almost
on the edge.
Yeah, right on the edge. That's almost as many undergraduate students at USC. Think of how many people there are walking around USC campus at any given moment. You've convinced like that many people to be a part of your life. So why would you stop? Like, you have such an ability to continue to build and to continue to live your life at the same time, and whether you want to broadcast it, whether you want to make original content, whatever it is, like, I think you'll find success in it. And I think that, you know, if you pivot drastically, some people are going to leave, but other people are going to come. And I know that they're going to come. Like, I think it's just part of the game. It's like, if you want to pivot and you want to get into music, I'm all for it. If you want to keep live streaming your life 24/7, I'm all for it. I'm going to support you in whatever you do. But I think that the fact that, like, if you respected my opinion enough to start this project, I'd appreciate it if you respected my opinion enough to have faith in yourself and to keep doing what you think you should be doing. Because that's what I think you should be doing. I don't think you should go, what should I do now? Like,
that's a great answer.
You should keep going if you want to keep going. Or if you want to change, I think you could change. I'm going to follow you either way. I'm going to be there either way. It would be really hard for you. It would be really hard for you to lose me as a friend at this point. Really hard for you. Like, you'd have to do something really crazy. Like, you'd have to get an AR-15 and, like, go into a Starbucks, and then even still, I'd be like...
Dude,
like,
is that PewDiePie video still up? Do you know if that...
Yeah, that's still there.
Dude, that's crazy.
The most heinous thing I've ever seen.
The #1 YouTuber in the world.
He's like, #1 YouTuber. He's like, I have an AR-15.
That's so crazy.
Dude. The fact that he got away with that and nothing came from that.
I can't believe he left it up, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, more came from him saying like something dumb to Alinity, like saying Twitch thought. More drama came from that than him literally going, I have an AR-15 and you want to have a good time. What you have to do is you have to go into a Starbucks and say, I have an AR-15, and if anybody goes near the door, like...
He was like cracking beers as he was doing this thing.
He's like half drunk, like going, like watching some sort of boomer joke. Like making a spin, like a millennial spin on some sort of boomer joke. Going, I want to have a good time. Go to Starbucks and say, I have an AR-15. Jesus Christ. No, like, I'm serious. Like, you would have to do some catastrophic world-ending shit for me to be like, all right, maybe I should.
What if I kept putting mice in your shoes? Even like I put them in one time and it was a big deal, and then you told me to stop, but I continued to find ways to do it.
I would wake up and I'd be like, Jesus Christ, are you shitting me?
Like, but
in the shoes again?
Yeah. And I found good intervals where I would wait long enough where you would forget to think about it, and so you would put the shoes on to find out.
Like, it'd be like month 7, and I'd be like, all right, he's not gonna put mice in my shoes, and then I'd be good for like a week and a half living my life, and you know, like I'd wake up to Mr. Blue Sky, like that, and then one morning I wake up and I put my shoe in a little squiggly. Like, whoa, what's that? I put my shoe and I look at motherfucker.
Yeah.
Mouse.
Would that? Do you think that would be the end of it?
Oh, dude, game over. Catastrophic. The biggest friendship breakup in the history of mankind. No, dude, I'm serious. But like genuinely, like I want you to understand I'm being serious. Like, genuinely, dude, I think if you pivot drastically, I think some people will go, but I think more people, like there will be more people that will also come. But I also think that what you're doing right now is totally fine. And I don't think that you should second guess what you're doing. And I think that you're the kind of guy who's a good enough person and a wholesome enough person that if you just do what you do, whatever it is, there's going to be people that follow you, provided, like you're not hurting anybody by doing this. Like you're not going out there, you're not destroying people's character. You're not telling people to fuck off. You're not like getting involved in fights that aren't yours. You're doing.
I think I did all of those things in the first half of this year.
No, you didn't.
I think I did all of those. What was the second one? You said destroying someone's character. What was the next one?
Yeah, but that's your character. That doesn't count.
No. I think I definitely put someone else's character on blast on the highlights channel and stuff. The guy who I had like a big disagreement with earlier in the year.
Oh, me?
No. It was one of my friends who like I probably wouldn't consider one of my friends anymore, but it was just like we had a really weird situation and.
Yeah, Ethan Christensen. Yeah.
No, I'm serious. I'm not kidding.
Okay, well, I mean, dude, like that stuff happens. I mean, like, dude, I don't think at that time, how you realize how drastic of a decision this was. And I think other people did, and they're like, you're seriously going to do this, and they weren't all along, and you find out who your true friends are. Mm-hmm. And what I'm saying is, like, at the end of the day, you could walk into Starbucks with an AR-15 and I'd still be your friend. So maybe I'm not the best person to get advice from on what you should do next, but I'm going to support you in whatever you do, man. And
that's completely legal in Texas to do. So
really? Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Maybe you should do it on live stream. Just walk in there with one, and then just have it blow up as a national incident, and get famous.
And I'll be like, I don't really understand what the big deal was.
Yeah.
I was walking to my.
I told me to do
it. Dude, speaking of that, and actually, I don't even know if I should relate this to this subject, but what about that guy were you the one who told me to watch the footage of the New Zealand person?
No, I didn't. Dude, I purposely avoided that situation because, like, I know he said that because he wanted notoriety. He didn't say that, like people do that shit all the time. Like, think of the guy that shot John Lennon, and he's like, I did it because Catcher in the Rye told me to do it. It's like, people, like, you cannot control how people will interpret stuff.
Yeah.
Which is basically like what you're asking me right now. Is you're asking me what decision should I do so that people will interpret it in a manner that isn't completely destructive of what I've built. And it's like, you're never going to be able to control that. And what people really starve for and crave more than anything is authenticity. Authenticity and truth. And they don't even know it. Most of the time, they don't even know it. That's what they starve, and that's what they crave for. And I don't think that guy was being authentic, and I don't think that he was being genuine, because I think that he was just a violent, crazy guy, and he didn't want to admit that he was a sick psychopath who did it. And he put the blame on somebody else because after he committed it, he couldn't deal with the fact that he did it.
Dude, that event, and then did I talk to you? I think I talked to you about that. I watched this girl commit suicide, like this 13-year-old girl commit suicide.
Yeah. I think about you telling me that all the time. Dude, I don't know why you watch that. Those two events. I think something about things being like those. I didn't watch them in real time, obviously, but the fact that those were live streamed, like, there's something so eerie and that sticks with me way more than watching any of those videos that people used to pull up where it's like people getting their heads cut off and stuff. There's something way different about it when it's like a live stream footage, but I don't know why. Because it hits close to home for you.
Well, I watched those before the year even started, but I guess that's true.
I mean, you probably
or one of them.
You because the thing is it's like that was part. You took that in as part of something that you signed up for.
Yeah.
You went into a crazy world, right? Like, where people are live streaming themselves committing suicide. People are trying to call SWAT teams on people who are just trying to live their life and stream video games. You enter the fucking Wild West of entertainment. And so when you no, I'm serious, when you hit your lowest points, you thought of that little girl, right? And you thought, hey, like, is that how I would do it if I was to do it? And shit like that. And that's just how people think. That's just human nature. I mean, like, I don't think, that's why when you said saw that video, I was like, I don't want to see that. I don't think I could ever walk away. Like, I don't think that would ever leave me.
Yeah.
And you telling me that too never left me either.
Yeah.
That's how powerful of what that happened is, that you witnessed it. And it's like the same thing of when I heard about that guy who like used to dismember children and sell them as sex slaves, or the guy that you told me about when he tried to do a magic trick and he accidentally drowned himself in a bathtub. Like,
did I tell you? I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
There's no way I said that. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, you said that. See, here's the thing, is you told me about that video where you watched that, like, there was this website where it showed you these 13 whatevers, 13 videos of people dying, and one of them was a guy who was trying to do like a Houdini magic trick in his bathtub, and he basically drowned himself in the bathtub.
I don't remember that at all.
Like, he hung himself upside down and was trying to undo the locks, and he realized, like, there was a moment where, like,
was it
he
a video?
realized that he was going to drown, and he ended up just drowning, and he was, like, shaking and moving, and then eventually just
It was
stopped.
a video?
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. That's nuts. And if that's true, and we did talk about that.
You saw that, and you told that to me, and I remember it, but you remember the little girl.
Yeah.
Like, that just shows me that, I mean, it probably just hits much more close to home.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I think it's just because it hits close. Like, if I heard about, like, you know, I don't know, like, that's just it, man. I think it's just because it hits close to home, and you think about that stuff a lot because it's so close to home.
I mean, when I started the project, I was like 50, I don't know, 50-50. I had like a significant part of me that thought that the ultimate cherry on top of this project would be to like blow my brains out on the last minute of the 365th day.
Yeah, I know that.
And I probably, I mean, I don't think I'm in a place where I think that would be a good decision to end the project at this point.
Yeah,
but I really thought that was a good idea. And like,
yeah, I know that you did. And for me to egg you on, knowing that, I was taking a huge fucking chance. But that was something that was like keeping me up too. Because I was like, I keep telling him to do this stuff, and if this stuff ends in him dying, I'm gonna feel like the biggest piece of shit that has ever walked here, and everybody's gonna have seen it. And that was like me taking a huge chance. So for you to come in and say you were one of the pivotal voices in the project, for where it is now, like it makes me feel good because I know that you're in a much better place than you were. I knew that this would be good for you.
Yeah, dude, you should I don't know if you know. Do you know that I have a Patreon?
No, I gotta make a Patreon. But...
So I have a Patreon, and one of my tiers, the most basic one, is like access to a newsletter, like a weekly newsletter.
Wait. Say it again.
I have a
weekly newsletter. You said?
Yeah. That's like my most basic tier comes with that, and I don't know if it was probably 2 weeks ago. I wrote, it was either last week or 2 weeks ago. I wrote a section that was like, that talked about you a little bit. And, no, it was 2 weeks ago because it was after our last hangout. And, I was sort of talked about that, what I just mentioned, like you being one of the voices that was definitely way in favor of the project. But I was going to send it to you, but I forgot to send it to you.
No, it's okay, man. You can just let it exist. You know, I mean, I could read it. I could find it. I could become a Patreon. But yeah, dude, I purposefully, I don't know if you know this, but I purposefully kind of try to disengage from actually actively watching you a lot, and like trying to stay filled in because I didn't want that to deteriorate like our friendship. And I got a lot more out of this and us, and I liked it. I like talking to you when chat's not there. Like, it's cool to have chat if I'm curious to hear what other people think about stuff. But like, I was really much in the camp of you doing this and just doing it with you. Because I think that you like, I don't think that I would have added to this project if I tried to latch onto it or be a bigger part of it. And I really wanted this for you.
Dude.
That's how I thought about it. And so for me to hear that coming from you now and to hear that you even wrote about it, that means a lot to me, Michael. Seriously. It's a huge...
Dude, you know what would mean a lot to me? Is if you would come to College Station. at some point this year during the project before it ends. Like maybe New Year's.
All right. Yeah. All right. I know that I've said this 100 times. I'm gonna find a way to do it. I'll figure it out. It's just I just haven't had a job in 2 years.
Wait, you worked at Pokey recently, right?
2 years ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'll just I'll figure it out. Yeah, I'll try to come out there. But yeah, dude, like seriously, like to answer that question, dude, I think whatever you do will be fine. Dude, like I'm not worried. Like there was a point where I was worried about you that you're like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if I just killed myself? Like you said that a few times. Like, oh, this fucking asshole, you motherfucker. That's what I thought. But then, you know, like as time went on, I realized like, wow, he's actually like, because I would tune in sometimes and it was just you alone. And then you started practicing music, and I was like, okay, that's good. And then I saw like you would hang out with Christian and Davey, Ethan Christensen, Davey, Shelby, Toby, like all of these people. And I was like, okay, so he's building a life. Like that's good. He's found a way to build a life. And so after I saw that happening, I was like, okay, he's gonna be fine. And so I think whatever you do from this point forward, whether it's stopping the stream and making original content, and whether that original content is vlogging, or whether it's music, or whether it's you going on political rants, or whether you continue to live stream even further and put your penis on the internet. I think whatever it is.
Dude, you know my penis is on the internet, right?
No way.
Yeah, dude, I stream my entire life now.
No way.
Yeah, I have 0% of my life that I don't show now. None.
So how do you get that on YouTube? Like, how do you?
I do it on a different site. It's called the Robot Streamer.
No way.
Yeah, I've been doing it since the 1st of October.
That's hysterical.
I know.
So there you go. Like it's. I don't think it's gonna matter, man. I think if you want to continue this project, dude, I'm full on for it. I think that's great. Continue the project. I don't know where I'm going after college. I don't know what I'm doing after college. I'm trying to get a place at Activision. But if that doesn't work out, I don't know what I'd do. So, you know, just like keep doing your own shit, man.
We gotta get the.
I'd like to take. I wish I had the opportunity that you did and had the ability to just take a year and just make shit.
We need to get we need to keep the virtual reality idea on the back burner. All right, don't let that flame extinguish.
Dude, that is my bread and butter. That is what I live and breathe.
It'd be a dope project if we could put it together.
Yeah, dude, I'd be down to help you on the next one. So if you wanted to do that, I'll get that set up. But yeah, dude, anyway, it's getting kind of late over here. I know it's late over there. I don't want to call this off, you know, like without your consent, because it's 2019. But,
I just don't really feel comfortable with you
and they want me to hop into Discord.
I don't know. I don't really feel comfortable with you doing that.
Okay, all right, then I guess I'll just stay here forever. But yeah, man, are we doing this another one on 2 Wednesdays?
I think you're rushing things. Can we just slow down? I've had a lot of water lose.
You know, like I don't understand because I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, and 2 more. So we have 3 more hangouts, man.
Yeah, wow.
3 more. But I think that we should really be serious. I think that we can find a way I mean, I have never said, I think Ethan's mentioned crowdfunding and stuff on my behalf.
By the way, just so you know, the 1st of January of next year is a Wednesday.
I think that might be an off Wednesday, though, because what is it right now?
Hold on, I'll count it out. I'm looking at my calendar. So we do one every 2 weeks, right? So 1, 2.
So we have
3. It is an off Wednesday.
Yeah.
It is an off Wednesday, but it's still kind of crazy if I came out there to College Station on a Wednesday because that's always been our day.
But I think that the last day of the stream is actually a Tuesday, and that's going to be Discord Tuesday. So that's important for you to get integrated in Discord Tuesday as soon as possible.
Okay, so Discord Tuesday, and you're not going to stream on the 1st?
I think I'm going to end it at 12.
Oh, fuck you. All right. We were just going to have a bitchin' New Year's party?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm going
No video.
But I think that I'd be willing to like try and get something together. I think that I know people from the stream want you to come out, so at least part of it financially, we might be able to put something together as far as like.
Well, dude, I get a bus ticket.
That-
I get a
It might be more expensive than flying.
I wrap them up a lot in a handkerchief and hang them on a stick and just get on out there. Taking the train.
You walk here and it takes like way more money and time, and it's.
Yeah. It's like $6,000. Okay. Oh, it is. Okay. But yeah, so yeah. But yeah, dude, I'll try to come out there. Now that you told me that I was in the newsletter, like I have to come out. So.
I'll send you that section. I wanted to send it to you. I just forgot to.
Dude, I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah.
I'm happy about that. All right. Well, if there's one thing to end on, it's that I can't wait. 2070. So we're gonna have two problems that are no longer gonna be a problem. Elderly and disabled people. Because we're just going to kill them. Because we're just going to kill them.
Alright, dude, I think I gotta end this. I don't like where this is going.
Dude, it actually felt awkward. I was actually really scared. I actually felt like, oh, fuck. Like, the fact that he muscled through that and again, I thought you were going to crack up. You were laughing, and I was like, oh, god damn it, you motherfucker. You're such an asshole, bro. You're a dick for doing that.
I don't know why you would say that. Like, it's not funny.
Okay, boomer. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, everybody who like. No, seriously. We do have to be cognizant that like that generation has literally built modern society. So.
That's true.
That's
we
true.
wouldn't be here without them.
Wouldn't be here without them at all. And also too, I love it. Like I want to make a meme where it's like, you know that meme that's like, "Am I a joke to you?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to make a meme where it's like a Gen Z that says, "Okay, boomer," and then it's like boomer who fought in Vietnam and like slit the throats of children.
Oh my god.
Am I a joke to you? No, because seriously, like those people went through some heavy fucking shit. Like the civil rights movement in Vietnam.
Yeah.
The fall of the Berlin Wall, fucking 9/11 as that they experienced as adults who actually went to the towers. Like these things are crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like I have a lot of respect for older generations, but you know I'm always gonna be a fucker and say stupid shit and memes. So that's just who I am. I love talking to older people and hearing what they have to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think that they should tell me like how I should run my Facebook and YouTube. Right?
Their Facebook.
I don't. That's one facet where I think when they go, hey, you know, you don't want people to think that you're an asshole and that you have poor character. I work at that. But if they're telling me like, well, if you really want to get subscribers, like,
I actually had a lot of my friends who are in the age range of 55 to 65 that told me I need to be more active on Snapchat, and I think that I'm gonna take that advice seriously. And
yeah, that doesn't actually sound like bad advice. You know, I think dude, older people are. I hate young people that don't respect older people because like they have so.
Dude, think about that statement and like.
Think about that statement after all the time. Yeah, I know. It seems pretty counterintuitive. But like, whenever my dad tells me a story, like I fucking listen to that shit.
Yeah.
You know? Or like whenever my older relatives would tell me shit, it's like, wow. Like, especially when they're like war veterans. It's like, dude, like talking like I can never relay like I can never like for people who don't have relatives who fought in World War II. Like, you missed out on a lot of amazing stories in life. Like, that's all I can really say about that. Because hearing stuff like that from those people, or, like, people who fought in Vietnam, who, like, went through it and lived through it, like, to hear what those people have to say and how they interpret life and how they understand, like, current issues in time now is, groundbreaking and world-opening. And that's honestly how I feel. You know, and I say stupid stuff to elicit a reaction and make humor And sometimes Michael Gerry abandons me in those times where I really, really need his support, his laughter, so that doesn't seem super cringy and awkward and hate-filled. But that's just how it is. So to the person who I offended earlier, I'm really sorry. I actually am very sorry about it. That note, as on that wholesome note, I'm gonna dip out.
All right, wait. The last thing, if you
Okay.
hello, if you if there was
Yeah, I'm here.
if I were to search up a couple flights preliminarily, what would be a date range that would work for you, and from where would you be flying?
I would be flying out of Philadelphia Airport.
Okay.
As two, and I guess a date that would work would be probably like the 29th.
Okay.
Or the 30th.
Okay.
I when I'm back home, I want to spend time with my family. So
Yeah.
like the closer to the actual date is,
Right.
is really.
You want to be there for Christmas, definitely, right? With your
I
family.
have to be there for Christmas.
Yeah.
I have to be there for Christmas. I have to be with my like just because my little dude. I spend 99% of the year away from my family and away from my little sister, and she's growing up, and she needs to know that she has an older brother who loves her. So I need to be there when I'm there, and I need to be there 100%. And that's just the reality of it. And I'd love to come out, if I could come out like the 20th or the 29th or the 30th, and then leave the 2nd or the 3rd. That would be ideal. Because even after New Year's, I have a ton of time after New Year's. I got like another 8 days to spend with my family. But I have one opportunity to do this.
Yeah, that's true. You do.
There's no other opportunity that I'm going to have to do this. So that's why I have to talk to my family.
All right.
It's the only time I can do it.
Well, enjoy your Discord call.
I will. I'm just going to be a loser who plays video games by himself, or with a few of my friends.
I'm looking forward to November 27th, 26th, or whatever, the 27th. I don't know. The next one.
Oh yeah, dude, that's Thanksgiving break too.
Nice. So you're gonna be
So
back
you'll
home.
catch me at a time when I'm totally alone.
Cool. That's good.
And I have nothing to do in life.
Nice.
So you might get a more edgy AR-15 wielding knife. All right. I'll see you, man.
All right. See ya.